Hey guys, my name is Aditya and this episode is part of the AQA iGCSE specification including core and higher content. Today we'll be focusing on fractions. Fractions are part of whole numbers. They consist of a numerator and a denominator. The top number is the numerator and the bottom is the denominator. Today we'll learn about the types of fractions, addition, subtraction, multiplication and the division of fractions. Types of fractions. First, we have proper fractions. Proper fractions are lesser than 1. For example, 1 over 2, 6 over 8, and 30 over 25. We notice that the numerator in all of these examples is lesser than the denominator. This means that the fraction is a proper fraction. 1 over 2 is just 0.5. 6 over 8 can be simplified to 3 over 4 by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 2. Now, if we divide or multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number, the value of the fraction doesn't change. It just becomes simplified. So 3 over 4 is 0.75. And 30 over 250 can be simplified to 3 over 25 by dividing the top and bottom by 10. Now 3 over 25 equates to 0.12. Improper fractions. Improper fractions are greater than 1. For example, 4 over 3, 27 over 4 and 90 over 8. 4 over 3 equates to 1.3 recurring. Now if you don't know what this means, I'll add a card to another video which explains what recurring decimals are. Next, we have 27 over 4. 27 over 4 equates to 6.75. And the next one, we have 90 over 80, which is simplified down to 9 over 8 by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 10. 9 over 8 equates to 1.125. Now in these fractions, we notice that the numerator is always greater than the denominator, and this means that the fraction is an improper fraction. Now we still have to learn about mixed fractions, but not quite yet. We still have to understand the addition of fractions before we move on to mixed fractions. Addition of fractions. To add the fractions, we need the denominator of all the fractions to be the same. You can't just add the numerators and the denominators because we need to follow the rules of board mass. For example, we do 1 over 2 plus 4 over 8. Now we see that both the denominators of both the fractions are different. And we can't just add the numerators and the denominators together. Like for example, we cannot do 5 over 10. We have to follow the rules of board mass. Board mass says that division comes before addition, and fractions are just a number divided by another number. If we have two fractions of the same denominator, we can just simply add the numerators. For example, 4 over 8 plus 12 over 8. Now, all we have to do is add the numerator and keep the denominator the same. 4 plus 12 gives us 16, and we keep the denominator the same. Now 16 over 8 is just 2. But what if we have two fractions of different denominators? We have to change one of the denominators so that both the denominators match. For example, 5 over 2 plus 6 over 4. Now we can multiply the numerator and the denominator of the left fraction by 2 so that we have the same denominators. So 5 times 2 and 2 times 2. Now 5 times 2 is just 10 and 2 times 2 is 4 plus 6 over 4. Now that we have the same denominators, we can just simply add the numerators and keep the denominators the same. 10 plus 6 gives us 16 and we keep 4 the same. Now this just equates to 4. Now subtracting fractions is similar. To subtract fractions, we need the denominator of all fractions to be same. If we have two fractions of the same denominators, we can just simply subtract the numerators. For example, 10 over 4 minus 6 over 4. So now we just subtract the numerators. 10 minus 6 gives us 4, and we keep the denominator the same. 4 over 4 is just 1. But what if we have two fractions with different denominators? We change one of the denominators so both of them match. For example, 6 over 8 minus 4 over 2. Now we can multiply the right fractions numerator and denominator by 4 so that we have the same denominator. So we're left with 6 over 8 minus 4 times 4 divided by 2 times 4, which gives us 16 over 8. Now that we have the same denominator, we can simply subtract the numerators. 6 minus 16 gives us minus 10, and we keep the denominator the same. Now this simplifies down to negative 5 over 4. Multiplying fractions is easy. All we have to do is multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. If we have a question, 10 over 8 times 2 over 4. All we have to do is multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. So 10 times 2 all divided by 8 times 4. 10 times 2 just gives us 20, and 8 times 4 gives us 32. Now 20 over 32 can be simplified to 5 over 8 by dividing the numerator and the denominator by 4. And 5 over 8 simplifies to 0.625. Now dividing fractions is also easy. All we have to do is divide the numerators and the denominators. For example, 10 divided by 4 divided by 5 over 4. So all we have to do is 10 divided by 5 all over 4 divided by 4. 10 divided by 5 is just 2, and 4 divided by 4 is just 1. And that just equates to 2. Now mixed fractions is a whole number and a proper fraction added together. So 4 6 over 8. Now this is just equal to 4 plus 6 over 8. So now if you want to add these two fractions, we need to have the same denominator. 4 is the same as 4 over 1. So now we need the same denominator. So we can multiply both the top and the bottom of this fraction by 8. 4 times 8 gives us 32, and 8 times 1 gives us 8. So now we're left with 32 over 8 plus 6 over 8. And that gives us 38 over 8. 38 over 8 is the same as 19 over 4 if we divide the top and the bottom by 2. And that equates to 4.75. Now we move on to questions. Pause the video and try out the questions yourself. Now the first question. A pizza has 8 slices. So let's just say it has 8 over 8. Now that's a whole pizza. Jane takes 3 slices. So Jane takes 3 over 8. So if she takes away something, we subtract it. So what fraction of the pizza remains? So now we just have a question. 8 over 8 minus 3 over 8. All we have to do is subtract the numerators. 8 minus 3 gives us 5, and keep the denominators the same, 5 over 8. Now 5 over 8 of the pizza remains. Second question. 4 over 8 times 6 over 4. So all we have to do is multiply the numerators together and the denominators together. 4 times 6 divided by 8 times 4. 4 times 6 gives us 24, and 8 times 4 gives us 32. 24 over 32 simplifies down to 3 over 4, and that's equal to 0.75. Third question. convert the mixed fraction to an improper fraction. So we know that 6 2 over 5 is the same as 6 plus 2 over 5. And we know that 6 is the same as 6 over 1. So now to have the same denominator, we can multiply the top and bottom of 6 over 1 by 5. So 6 times 5 gives us 30 and 5 times 1 just gives us 5. So 30 over 5 plus 2 over 5. We just have to add the numerators and keep the denominator the same. So 32 divided by 5. Thank you all for watching. Tell me if I helped you understand fractions a bit better down in the comments. Subscribe for more iGCSE content and like to help grow the channel. Thank you.